What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 2, season 2 of SportsCasters. We do appreciate you guys for tuning into today. We have some great topics on here for you guys, and we can't wait for you to enjoy.
Before it slows up, before the window of opportunity closes up. I came, I saw, I conquered, I'm ball. Yeah, I came, I saw, I conquered, I'm ball. Yeah, yo, we should get them, so I got them all. Yeah, and turn this bitch into a barrier.
Hey everyone, welcome to season 2, episode 2 of SportsCasters Media. I am your host, Jalia Santos. SportsCasters is brought to you today by Official Dev Music and Rel's Revenge. We are here with our special guest today, Hunter Stubbs, as always, our analyst, Darren Harris, and our founder, Chris Lyles Jr. So you guys are going to jump right into it. So first we're going to talk about LA versus Denver. Game 3 is Jamal Murray, a top 5 player, PG in the game. What do you guys think?
You say no. You know what? If we're going off of now within the modern era, as far as from LeBron to now, I have to say no as well. I'm not disregarding Jamal and what he has done now and what he has done, in his playoff tenure. But I can't personally put him over guys like Chris Paul or John Wall or Kyle Lowry. And it's no disrespect to Jamal Murray. We know he can ball. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. I know the brother can ball. I'm just saying from a respect standpoint, I can't put him over those guys who have been where he has been and done it, if not multiple times. They just haven't been able to get that chip for what they needed to get.
I think right now, if you're talking about right now, just this season, yes. But if you're talking about from when LeBron entered the league, then absolutely not. We got Tony Parker, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash. It's too many. I can even throw Gilbert Arenas. It's too many guys that play point guard. Even Derrick Rose right now. Derrick Rose, from his run that he had pre-injury, was ridiculous. He's the youngest MVP ever. He led his Chicago Bulls team to the Eastern Conference Finals. This is Murray's first conference finals he's ever played in. And that's too many people. It's too many people that's done more in the point guard position than Jamal Murray up to this point from when LeBron entered the league, at least. But if we keep it in 2020, he's a top 5 point guard in 2020, but from 2003 to now, no, not close.
So, Hunter, who is in your top 5 right now?
I disagree with both of y'all. I don't even think he's a top 5 point guard in the league.
Ooh.
Right now?
Right now, yes. Right now.
Give me Who's your 5?
Well, you got Steph, you got Westbrook, and then you've got, just like you said, you still have Derrick Rose, you have John Wall. But if you take them two off their team, you got to look at who the point guard would be. The point guard for Derrick Rose would be Michael. I lost his name. D'Lo in Minnesota. So that's still a decent point guard.
But you put D'Lo over Jamal Murray?
Yes. When have you heard of Jamal Murray until the bubble?
I heard about him last year when he went ballistic in Game 7 against the Spurs. He also okay, right. We're talking about 2020, right?
Yeah.
I want to. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Derrick Rose is not top 5 point guard in 2020,
right now, no.
and I love Westbrook to death, but I have to drop him. I can't leave Westbrook in that conference. I can't leave him right now. Right now, there's too many different things that Jamal Murray does well for me to keep Westbrook in this in the top 5 right now. Now, next year, if Westbrook, his talent level is elite as crap, but in terms of right now, who's playing the best winning basketball, is Jamal Murray for me. I can't put him below Westbrook at this point. Not right now.
But you
So
have to realize what Murray's doing is what Westbrook used to do. Go off, go ballistic in a game, 30, 40 points. But he would have a triple-double to go along with that.
But he did that in the regular season. Jamal Murray is doing that against arguably the best player in basketball. So that's another part you have to take into it too. It's like Westbrook, yeah, he can get you a triple-double during the regular season, but as any basketball player say, regular season don't count. It just gets you into the playoffs. Playoffs is when it matters. And that's when Jamal Murray is doing it when it matters. Now, some people I've seen, on social media say, oh, he got Joker and this and that. It's a great coach. Might be going, yeah, whatever. How the brother is dropping 25 plus a night. I can't recall, and Sterling, you can help me out. I can't recall a night where Jamal Murray hasn't dropped at least 25 and above. If he hasn't dropped lower than that in these playoffs.
Yeah, he had one. He had an off game against Utah, Game 7. Yeah. But I think, the thing about Jamal Murray right now, because we're talking about right now, I look at the game last night. And I see a Lakers team starting to come back, catch a groove, Bron, they're coming. And I just have the feeling from watching so many Westbrook games over the last, 2-3 years that in that moment, Russell Westbrook would have forced the action to stop the run, to stop the bleeding, which we would all commend because it's Russell Westbrook and he plays his heart out. But Jamal Murray at 23 years old showed the ability to stay the course, let the game come back to him, and that's when he started going ballistic down the last 3 minutes when it counted. And along with that, what he's done in these last couple elimination games, like versus the Clippers, is going off, versus the Jazz dropping 50, like in winning efforts, which is where I think he separates, because in those games, Joker wasn't on. Joker didn't know what he wanted to do. Now he came along in the Clippers series in Game 7 of that Jazz series. Joker finally started to show up, but Jamal Murray was carrying the Nuggets team, which had just got Gary Harris back. I think they had just got Morris back. They still wasn't even in sync as a team. And he just said, hey, y'all get on my back, and we're going to take y'all up here. Like, I got to give it to him right now. And it's in the playoffs on the biggest stage. Like, I got to hand it to him.
He dropped 50 with his team not playing defense. The man on the other side of the court had 60, and nobody talks about it.
Who had 60?
Who had 60?
Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, 53. Like the first game.
The reason being is
Murray had 47 and Murray won.
Yeah, it was a loss.
That's why. But so just
Murray,
real quick,
Murray had 47 and won too, though.
Just between you two guys, and I'm gonna say mine too, but after you guys, your top 5 in 2020, go. Point guards. I'm sorry.
You want first on?
Oh, that's hard because everybody was injured in 2020.
Well, now that should give you an even better thing to go off of. So as of right now, what you seen? Go ahead, Trevor.
I got it. So easily, let's say going into the 2021 season, because even if Murray just bounced here, I got him at 5 right now. But my at number 1, Steph Curry for me. Number 2, Damian Lillard. I'm gonna still give Kyrie respect. He's gonna be number 3 for me. 4, Luka Doncic, and 5, Jamal Murray. Yes, I'm counting Luka as a point guard because he plays point guard. There's not another primary ball handler on that team outside of Luka Doncic, so he's the point guard of the team.
I agree with your top 4, but number 5 for me would be Bradley Beal. I don't think John Wall stays much longer in Washington because of his injuries. And Bradley Beal like you said, with Luka being the main ball handler on that team, that's why I say Bradley Beal. Even though he's not a true point guard, neither is Luka, but I say Bradley Beal.
Luka's giving me enough evidence to where he's a true point guard at heart. Like he literally,
yeah, no doubt.
I mean, he's dropping 10 assists a night if he wants to. I don't think Bill has that ability.
Yeah,
but I mean,
my top 5, I would have to say, I'd have to give it to Kyrie is my 1, Steph is my 2, Dame is my 3.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't put Steph over Kyrie. It's just a personal thing. I can't do it.
Why?
I can't.
For what reason?
Only reason I had this conversation. Hold on, let me finish my 5 for y'all try to get on me. I said Kyrie at my 1, 2, Steph, 3, Dame, 4. This is the tough part. 4, I'm gonna have to give it to Chris Paul, and then 5, I have to give it to Jamal Murray. Now, going back to what y'all were trying to get at, reason being I can't put Steph Curry over Kyrie is because there's that little factor that is called defense. I'm not saying Steph doesn't play defense, but I feel like Kyrie plays just a smidgen more defense than Steph does. If we being honest,
more games in a season.
You can't blame injury on that. Come on now, that's injury. I mean, at the end of the day, like that's just your body getting hurt. You can't control you getting hurt. If you get hurt, you just get hurt. So that's that. But for stuff that you can control, which is defense, and going back to, I have to look it up, who averages, more blocks and more steals. But last time I looked, it was Kyrie. Just with that being said, I think that's just that little factor that puts him above Steph, in my personal opinion. Everyone knows Steph can shoot the ball. He has a great passing IQ, a phenomenal floor general, all that. But Kyrie is that too. Well, not so far as the floor general part. There's some cases where it's like, all right, Kyrie, get your team together. But the upside of him being able to play a little bit better defense than Steph is why I put Kyrie as number one.
Did you know that Steph Curry led his team in steals his unanimous MVP season?
That's one time. I'm talking about for the duration of their entire their entire time being in the league. That was one time.
Okay, but when I watch Steph Curry play defense, he doesn't play bad defense. Yes,
that's what I'm saying. He doesn't play bad defense. Yeah.
I can't leapfrog a two-time MVP, a unanimous MVP, a dude that went 50, 40, 90, because a dude might have a block more than him. When I factor in the type of the way Steph opens the games, he opens the floor for his whole team because you have to pick him up at half court. And then his playmaking ability and leadership qualities. Yes, I do not blame everything in Boston on Kyrie, but Steph has better leadership qualities than Kyrie Irving. He's the best point guard in the game still. And Dame is second because Dame has shown the same type of explosive scoring outbursts. He plays defense and his leadership qualities are right up there with Steph's.
My thing is that they both done it with one team. They've stayed with the Warriors and they've stayed with the Trailblazers, Dame and Steph.
Well,
Kyrie's on the ship.
You can't blame Kyrie for wanting to leave Cleveland. At the end of the day, that was ownership. Even ownership said they want to get rid of Kyrie. So, in the end, I don't put Kyrie leaving Cleveland on Kyrie. I feel like Kyrie was just like, all right, y'all don't want me? All right, okay, cool. So, Celtics, what was y'all talking about again? So, again, I don't put that over Kyrie. But to Sterling's
so you don't put on LeBron?
Is
not like LeBron's responsibility to mend that relationship as the best player on the team and who actually runs the team?
I plead the fifth.
I mean, let's be honest. LeBron ran Cleveland.
I definitely plead the fifth on that one because I definitely agree. LeBron did it. He could have had to say so. But again, at the end, if Kyrie coming back, calling LeBron like, hey, man, try to do this in Boston. Didn't work out. I apologize, whatever. So that's why I don't put anything past LeBron either, because I feel like LeBron could have stopped the bleeding instead of just letting it happen. That's the problem that LeBron did. He didn't do what he needed to do to secure Kyrie. But that's whatever. But going back to the top five, I understand, your point, Sterling, but just from a personal standpoint, I just really can't put Steph over Kyrie just because I've actually watched Kyrie from when he was at Duke, and granted he was hurt and only played like 9 games. I did that. But watching him transition to the NBA, I just have a personal connection to him. I don't really have a personal connection to Steph only because when I look at him, I know he can do all these other things, but when I see him, I just think somebody that's just shooting the whole time. That's just my personal opinion. But I know he can do other things too.
Let me tell you about Steph. Let me tell you about Steph. Steph played at the Chick-fil-A Classic at Richland Northeast High School when he was a little 5'11", 5'10" kid out of whatever high school he was playing in at the time. And he dropped 30 on everybody at the Chick-fil-A Classic. He was literally the dude people wanted to come see play basketball at 5'10", just shooting threes all over. And the coach at South Carolina at the time was Dave Odom. and he was like, well, I can't recruit Steph because he's too small. So we all know how that story goes. He goes to Davidson, goes on a Cinderella run, and then gets to Golden State, where he has these chronic ankle injuries and can't seem to get on the court. Takes the cheapest deal in probably any superstars ever took in it, but he was a superstar at the time, takes that deal. And we literally watch him change the game of basketball right before our eyes. He forced GMs to think about, if I'm gonna draft this point guard, he has to shoot the 3-point. He has to be able to shoot. If he's not ultra athletic and he's not ultra long, he better be able to shoot the 3-pointer. And that him kind of changing the game in that way for point guards that were considered small, though he's 6'3", but it's dudes that can't really get up like that and athletically dominate somebody, to then being a 3 times finals champion and a 2-time unanimous MVP. That guy, who's still going, is the best point guard in the game for all those reasons of head of Kyrie, who kind of got to Cleveland and that's kind of stuck in the mud and until LeBron came, basically. I mean, I kind of I can't put Kyrie over Stubbs.
All right, y'all. We're going to just switch it over to the NFL. So just like how y'all did y'all top 5 PGs, we're going to switch it over to the top 5 teams that you guys are going for the Super Bowl. So we're in week 2 right now, leading into week 3. So whoever wants to jump first, what are y'all top 5 teams?
Go ahead, Hunter.
I mean, I feel like if you talk about this topic, you got to throw out, the obvious ones, the Chiefs, the Ravens, Tampa Bay, just because of Tom Brady. So if I had to do a top 5, it'd be Chiefs and Ravens, top 2. Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys. There's a reason to my Cowboys pick.
Oh.
You said obviously.
I'd probably go Tampa Bay, and then the last one would be I'd have to go with the Saints.
I'm not frozen. I'm stuck. My face is just stuck. Sterling, you want to go ahead before we dive into that, or do you want me to go ahead and do my top 5?
You do your top 5. I'll go last.
What? Why is this so bad?
My top 5. We'll get into that. My top 5 is I'd have to go with the Chiefs. This is in no order. The Chiefs, the Ravens, well, kind of an order. Chiefs, Ravens. Got to throw in the Seahawks after what I've seen from Russell. And kind of what, Sterling been itching for these past couple of weeks, and actually watching them, actually sitting down, actually watching them. I got to have the Seahawks at 3rd. 4, I'm going to have to go with – I'm going to throw in the Saints. Don't like them at all, but I'm going to throw them in there just because they have Michael Thomas and Drew Brees, whatever. 5, this is my sleeper. I'm going to go with the Patriots. After what I saw what Cam did to the Russell Wilson, man, that's a sleeper right there. I'm not putting nothing past the Patriots. And I'm not even a Patriots fan. But because my man Cam is up there and doing his thing, I got to give it to him. Sterling, go ahead. And then we're going to dive into that, Hunter. We're going to get it.
I never thought I'd hear the Cowboys name mentioned. Okay. We're going to go Seahawks, Chiefs, Ravens, Patriots, and the Saints. Did I say the Saints? Seahawks? Seahawks, Chiefs, Ravens, Saints, Patriots. That's my 5. That's my 5. I'll throw in there in the mix.
So,
but what in the world prompted you to say this Dallas Cowboys of the 1995? Are we going back to 1995 again? They're gonna win it this year again, right?
Here's my thing with the Cowboys. Hear me out. I've watched Dak grow up from college. I loved to watch Mississippi State play when Dak was there. Dak did not have talent around him at Mississippi State to do what he needed to do. He needed receivers and he needed offensive line. He didn't really have that, but he made the best that he could, and he always played really good in big games. Himself, not just the team, himself. He played really good in big games. Those big games got him to the NFL. To where now he's behind the best offensive line in football, arguably. He has one of the top running backs in the NFL. He now has one of the best receiving corps in the NFL. Then on the other side of the ball, as long as if they stop getting hurt, that's the part that hurts the Cowboys is their defense. But you got to think about something. You know, you say the Seahawks, they just let Cam nickel and dime them all the way down the field. Do they do the same thing this week with the wide receivers they have to play against when they play the Cowboys? When the Seahawks play the Cowboys? There's no way you leave Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb open and let Dak just nickel and dime you. Atlanta let him nickel and dime in the second half, and they came back and won. It takes one game to change the momentum of the season, and I think that was the eye-opener for the Cowboys to show what they have.
All right, Hunter. So you was talking about the game this weekend, right, with the Seahawks and Cowboys. I must point out to you that in that game against the Patriots, the Seahawks did lose their top safety, and then immediately afterwards, they lost their starting nickel. So,
okay, well, the Patriots were without their starting running back.
They have two starting running backs. Cam Newton's on the field. So the Patriots.
Got a point.
So the Seahawks already was compromised in the secondary, and the cornerbacks already suck. So really, yes, they're going to let them nickel and dime all game because they can't play man to man like, let's say, the Patriots would play man to man all they want to. They're going to let people catch underneath because they're cover 3 team. That's what they're going to do. They're going to let people catch it underneath, and then if you try to take a shot, they'll try their best to capitalize on it. But the thing about this matchup with the Cowboys and the thing about them being a Super Bowl mix, I just can't give them the benefit of the doubt no more. We've seen that with this type of O-line running back the last 2 years. And in the first game of the season, they laid an egg against who did they even play that they lost to? They laid an egg against the Rams. All right, and I understand Aaron Donald's on the front line, but you have the best offensive line in the league. You have the top 3 running back in the league, and I need to see that team feed him more than 25 times a game for me to believe they'll make the Super Bowl because their defense is horrible. It's like
feed somebody that fumbled 3 times in the first half.
Yes, I'll continue to feed that man because that man will get me to the promised land. Eventually, he will get me there. Ezekiel Elliott is that dude now. You could say he fumbled because he don't get the ball enough. That could be his excuse because they don't give him the ball enough, but that defense is so – they don't have anybody outside of that line. Now, that line's going to be scary as the season goes on, but their secondary is horrible. And with Russell Wilson, what he just did to the Patriots secondary, because I still – like I said before, I think Russell Wilson's the best quarterback in the game. What he just did to the Patriots secondary, I can only imagine what's going to do to to Dallas' secondary. And they're too – discombobulated back there for me to pick them anywhere near the Super Bowl. I'd put Pittsburgh in there before I put Dallas in the Super Bowl hunt. I'd even throw in the Titans before I throw Dallas in for the Super Bowl hunt. Now we're talking straight talent. Yes, Dallas has talent all over the place, but they've never found a way to correctly use them. So I can't put him in that Super Bowl conversation until they prove it to me. I just can't do it. Chris, you good now?
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
All right, cool. So this is what I was trying to say. There's 2 reasons why. Well, of course, what Sterling was saying. There's 2 reasons why you will not win a Super Bowl. One is because, to your point about defense, y'all just can't click. I don't know what it is. It's like you have all the pieces to succeed, but you just can't click. I don't know what it is. I don't know. We thought it was Jason Garrett, got rid of him. Okay, now you got, Mike McCarthy? Still can't do it. Yeah. Now you can't click. There's no chemistry. Second reason, and this is probably since day one probably, you have Jerry Jones as your owner. That's the problem. You have an owner who thinks he knows football and is trying to do football things. He needs to stick to what he knows, which is the management, the financials, all this other stuff. Stop trying to do football stuff when you don't know football. Has Jerry Jones ever played football? We don't know. So there's going to probably come a time this season. Key player probably doesn't want to pay him. He's going to sit out. Probably Zeke, probably Dak. Who knows? Somebody's not going to get paid, and it's going to piss the whole team off, and nobody wants to play now. That's going to probably be one instance. Another instance, okay, suspend him. He's not doing what I want him to do, Kind of like what he got going on. So that's two reasons why I think that you guys won't see a Super Bowl. I'll give you this. You may see a playoff. May. Do you
I mean, NFC is horrible.
Right. They may see a playoff. But when they see a Super Bowl, you're talking about beating out Tampa Bay possibly. You're talking about beating out the Saints. You're talking about you didn't beat the Rams. I don't see you beating them again. So that's three teams right there.
Off by one possession.
Again, it's still L. So therefore, I don't see them, beating those kind of teams. So with that said, that's a hot take. But child, I don't.
That's not me picking the Cowboys because I like the Cowboys. I'm not a Cowboys fan by no means. They have the most players that I like individually, as a collective, as a group. And so for me, you said the defense not being able to click. I see that, but that goes back to my point of every year, the last 2 or 3 years for the Cowboys, somebody key on their defense has been hurt. Sean Lee has been out several times. He'll come back for a game, and then he's out for 3 games. Then he'll come back for a game, and then he's out for 3 games. Van Der Esch is already hurt this year. So, I mean, now you're just holding on to Byron Jones and hope he doesn't get hurt.
Byron Jones is in Miami. They ain't even pay him.
That's right. He went to Miami.
They should have paid. They should have just paid him.
They should have paid him. That's right.
I mean, now you go draft Trayvon Diggs to guard the third best receiver and still not be able to guard him. I just don't see how the Cowboys is going to be able to pull this off in any scenario. If you get a wild card spot, you got to go to a division champion. That's probably going to be the Green Bay, New Orleans, Seattle, or even just in the wild card game, if it's the second tier of that, okay, so you're not playing Seattle, who are you going to end up playing? The 49ers maybe, or even they got all those injuries, but Kyle Shanahan is such a great play caller. I mean, I'd still pick him in the game over the Cowboys. Like I just don't see a window for them to actually do this thing, and then they win the division. And they bring somebody in, they're going to get disappointed on their home turf with like 20,000 fans in the stands. This is not going to be – no. I don't
beautiful
see it.
Stadium. They got one of the best stadiums in the NFL. Loss. Disgusting.
And I just like – but Hunter, you talked about the game. Who you got picking between the Cowboys and the Seahawks on Sunday? Who you got winning that game? I got the Seahawks for obvious reasons. Why?
Cowboys.
Why? Why would they win that game?
Wide receivers alone. Wide receivers.
Wide receivers, so Russell Wilson don't mean nothing.
Russell Wilson will throw for 400 yards, but the game will be won and lost based on wide receivers alone for both teams.
I'm gonna tell you
if the quarterbacks can get the wide receivers the ball, the wide receivers will make a difference in this game because both secondaries, other than Earl Thomas, is the only person that can stop anybody. I mean, Jamal Adams, is the only person that is really a big name player in either one of the secondaries.
Okay, hold on.
Hey, don't sleep on Quandre Diggs.
Hold on.
Quandre Diggs is good.
Hold on, Sterling. Let me do something for you, Hunter. Let me do an equation.
Chris about to roast me.
Do you think that Cam Newton is better than Dak Prescott? Watch how I go.
You gonna just roll that out?
He has an MVP and went to a Super Bowl. Yes, okay, I'm not that dumb.
Okay. You said that Jamal Adams was sort of the best player on defense. Kind of, I'm paraphrasing. So forget about Bobby Wagner. I was just about to say that. So if Bobby Wagner can do what he did to Cam Newton, granted, yes, Cam Newton dropped 400 yards on them, but that's not on Bobby Wagner. That's on the corners not being able to do what they needed to do. Bobby Wagner still disrupted the run and be able to do what he needed to do. So look how tight it's in. So you said that Cam Newton is better than Dak. What you think Bobby Wagner's going to do to Dak?
You got to realize what I said in the very beginning. Offensive line. If Bobby Wagner comes in and blitzes against all those the big-time offensive line they got, he might be able to get through every once in a while. Same thing with Earl Thomas. The other night why do I keep calling
Jamal
Adams. The second time I did that. Jamal Adams did, Jamal Adams things. He kept coming down to the line of scrimmage and safety blitzing and everything. If you can't do that against Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup, you can do that against Julian Edelman and N'Keal Harry. You can do that all day long against the nobody wide receivers that the Patriots have. So you can throw 400 yards when you're blitzing a safety probably 40% of the time. But you're only going to throw it 10 or 15 yards because you have pressure in your face from Bobby Wagner, from Jamal Adams. Wait till you have the best offensive line money can buy and the best wide receiving core in the NFL, arguably.
Well,
including Zeke.
That's
my opinion.
There's only two things that you're missing from this, though. Tyron Smith is hurt. Lil Collins is hurt. So they don't have the best O-line right now. When they get healthy, then yes, they probably have the best O-line in football. But they're starting right tackles out, and they're starting, I think, left guard or right, whatever he is. They got two key guys that are going to be out. Two, the previous week, you could say that they played the best receiving core in the NFL in Atlanta when they had Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, I think what's the dude? Is it Russell Gage and Hayden Hurst? I mean, those guys. Todd Gurley's playing running back for Atlanta, and they stuffed them the whole game. Jamal Adams getting fits all over the field.
But are you putting Dak in the same category as Matt Ryan?
Oh, Matty Ice is still Matty Ice. Just look, they put up how much points on Dak the other day, right? I mean, now yes, the Falcons. I mean, sold the game, but I mean, when you talk about selling a game, I mean, it was hard. It's hard to do what the Falcons did on Sunday. That's difficult. That's very difficult to lose a game that badly. but we've seen Seattle plays to the level of their competition in terms of secondary play. So when they see Amari, Gallup, CD. I think they're missing their tight end, but when they see those guys, they're going to play differently. That's just how Seattle is. It's kind of what you get with them. It's aggravating, but the reason why it doesn't matter is because they have Russell Wilson. He's always the best player on the field, and he's going to win the game.
All right, we're going to transition to our last and final discussion. So Deion Sanders, he is a Jackson State head coach, football coach. And first, I want to talk about how I feel in that situation. I'm actually real happy about that. I feel like one of the best things for HBCUs to get that recognition is for someone like a big power person to move over to that side, and it's going, that's going to ricochet a bunch of people wanting to go over them because they're like, oh wait, he's there, and that helps us in the end. So I think that's a great thing. But I want to know what your opinions are on that topic.
Hunter, go ahead. You go first.
I think it's exactly what Deion needed to do. You've seen him coach like the Under Armour All-American games and work with the high school kids on TV, and now you get to see him work at the college level. What is Deion known for? His pageantry, his swag is unmatched. What do HBCUs bring? The band, the swag, the style. It's right up Deion's alley. Yeah. And to be able to take a team that isn't competing for championships yet to eventually go to the status of like South Carolina State or North Carolina A&T and get to that stature to play in a bowl game or to play for a championship. If Deion can take that team that far, I don't see him getting a deal from a big time school because of his pageantry and his, I wouldn't say his attitude, but the way he carries himself. But I could definitely see somebody else taking a chance on Deion. But I think starting at the HBCU is great. I think it's perfect.
I agree with everything until you said the last part about him potentially not getting a big-time offer from a big-time school. His son plays for the University of South Carolina. That's one case right there. You can't tell me if Deion were to walk into the athletics department and be like, hey, I want to start a coach job. Okay, that's all. And I'm not taking nothing away from Will Muschamp of him not being a great coach. I mean, I have my own personal opinions, but – if they were to pick Deion Sanders over Will Muschamp, come on now. And then going to the part where it's just his attitude. The one reason why people love Deion so much is because he's able to adapt and he keeps it real. And no one hates Deion. I don't care what side of the spectrum you on. I don't care if you see people this certain way, whatever. Everybody loves Deion. So from that personal point, I think that if he were to get a big-time offer, I don't even think he would accept it because I don't think he wants it. I think he wants to be, in a place where he has full control of what he can be able to do without any outside, outliers like, oh, well, Deion, we don't think you should do this, da, da, da. That's the main reason why he went to HBCU. It wasn't because there were no big-time offers. It was because he went to a place where he could have full control, be able to do what he wants to do in a way that's ethical, in a way that's right. If I feel like if he were to go to a Alabama or Clemson, hope he doesn't, or LSU, he would have so many restrictions on what he can and can't do to the point where it's not Deion anymore. It's like you have his name, but it's not him. So I feel like it's a really big thing for HBCUs. I really do think that other coaches, big-time coaches, will start to kind of migrate into HBCUs. Won't be now, but in, years coming. Deion is setting the founding blueprint of how to get to those HBCUs and what it means for athletes. Athletes are going to start emerging more and more because they see somebody who was like Deion and what he was able to do from an athlete and from a post-athletic perspective. So I think it's a huge thing for HBCUs, and I can't wait to see what he does with Jackson State.
Man, I love this move, and I think it's probably – I hope what Deion ends up doing is like South Carolina State on steroids. Like, talk about, like, bringing more into the respect of getting guys from Jackson State to the NFL. Because South Carolina State has some great NFL players. Just look at Darius Leonard. My God, he is a monster. God. He just carries the Colts on defense in terms of tackling prowess. Because can't nobody else in that defense tackle. But like with him going to Jackson State specifically, and I kind of like what you talked about when you said like if he was going to a big name college, he'd have so many restrictions and you'd have boosters and the politics of it. I don't think Deion was no parts of a Florida State. You remember the rumors of Florida State was coming out about him? Deion go to Florida State? I don't think he was any parts of nothing like that. He wants what he feels the most comfortable with. What he feels the most comfortable with is an environment that he can relate to on the spot and that he feels like he can produce the most change. Like he was talking yesterday, and he was already talking about how they're getting these brand new facilities built at Jackson State right now. They're going to be done by next June. So I can't wait to see what those facilities look like to try and showcase, hopefully the new wave of HBCU athletics and how they're funded through money and all that stuff, because he's going to bring the attention there to get the money to start flowing through there. And if he wins a couple games and he's going to schedule some big names, don't let Deion turn into HBCU App State and go out there and beat somebody like Michigan or Ohio State or Clemson. Don't let Deion do something like that. It would be the greatest thing. it would be the greatest thing I probably ever see. And I just feel like this is the perfect fit for him. It's a perfect fit for him.
I have a question for both of you.
Go ahead.
So we both know Mikey Williams, the basketball recruit that's been saying, he might go to a HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
With Deion doing what he's done now at Jackson State, do you think we'll see a top-ranked recruit, 3 or 4-star player, go that route? And then not just that, you also have JUCO transfers that could go to big-time schools or they can go play for Deion. Yeah, it's still going to be school and business at the end of the day. It's still football. But look at the mind that you have to pick versus as the ability you have to show yourself off on national television.
I believe.
Go ahead, bro.
And that's just my little thing is I love the move, but I feel like now Deion's put himself in a place to where he thinks his name carries a lot of weight, and it does. Don't get me wrong. But do players take that risk of the two-sided animal?
So I'm trying to make sure I understand your question. You're saying, are athletes going to still go to these HBCUs because Deion and what he was able to do? Are they going to switch how they think and start going to HBCUs rather than going to a big time school? And
I'm saying like high ranking, like prospects, like 4 and 5, maybe not a 5-star, but let's say 3 and 4-star players choosing to go play for Deion at Jackson State versus going to another school.
Okay. Well, Sterling,
what's up?
I would say go ahead.
Okay. I believe that the answer to your question is absolutely yes. Because here's the thing.
Okay.
When we're talking about high recruits. It's not even high recruits, but recruits in general, but the 4 and the 5 stars, their whole goal is how can I get to the NFL? Deion is recognized as probably the greatest. Some people could call him the greatest football player ever. He's the greatest cornerback ever. And he was probably one of the great. I mean, there's not an NFL person that he doesn't know. So in terms of, can I get in contact with this guy? Is there a connection through this person? Can I talk to this person? Can I learn from this person? Deion has every single NFL contact you need to know about. So if GMs and executives who know Deion and see how they play, they'll check a Jackson State film because Deion is there. And we've seen plenty of players come from smaller environments that have been great NFL players. It's just they didn't have the guy there to connect them straight to the league to possibly have a guy check them out. And then when you talk about JUCO products, their whole goal is to get out of JUCO and get to a college where they can play immediately. So instead of going to a big name college where you might go there as a JUCO product and say, yeah, I'm going to play, but I got to beat out a 4-star that's coming in next year or beat out another 5-star coming next year. You go right there to Jackson State and play with Deion and still feel comfortable in your own skin as in terms of the environment that you're going to be surrounded in, because there's going to be a lot of people that you're probably going to be familiar with in terms of their lifestyle, their upbringing and stuff like that, where they came from, and you'll enjoy your environment while playing football and getting your degree. Same thing with 3-star prospects. 3-star prospects, lots of them they'll see they got all these offers from these maybe mid-majors or whatnot, but be like, but I want to go to South Carolina, I want to go to Alabama, and then sit for 4 years and be frustrated and transfer anyway. Now the route is, well, Jackson State over here, they don't got a lot, but, it's Deion Sanders. So in terms of connections, I mean, boom, NFL, like, holla at me. And then it's the opportunity to play. And I think that's going to attract a lot of people because their main goal is to get to the league, at least initially, is to get to the league. But the secondary part of playing under Deion and what he's trying to build there, from what he said, is he's going to build a great environment for people to come. So JUCO's not to worry about how they're going to fit in at Bama or how they're going to fit in at a place like, Virginia or Virginia Tech, stuff like that. No, you're going to Jackson State. You're still with your people at that point in time. You feel comfortable going there. I think there's going to be a lot of surprises and people are going to actually start going to Jackson State.
Yeah.
I see it happening.
And I think a lot of it, too, is kind of piggyback off what Sterling was saying. A lot of it is Deion is going to work you. It doesn't matter if you're a 4, 5, 3, whatever. He doesn't care. And if you come to his program, you are going to work, and you're going to prove to him why you – he's not even going to ask you to prove why you should be at Jackson State. He's going to ask, why should I put you in the NFL? Why should I put you with these guys who are making millions of dollars and – have created a global name for themselves? Tom Brady is global. Drew Brees is global. Pat Mahomes is global. So why should I put you in that category with those guys? And I think a lot of it, too, is guys who are looking to get into that space, to that NFL space, going with Deion, they'll know he's trying to work me, but he's doing it out of the kindness of his heart, and he actually wants me to succeed, not because I'm going to Alabama or a Clemson and they're just going to just treat me like another athlete. Deion's not going to do that. I know that for a fact. So I truly, like I was just, what Sterling was saying, I do believe that, it's a good move. It's a great move, let me say it like that. And I just can't wait for who goes to Jackson State and what they can come up with.
Like, Deion can legit be like, hey, you want to talk to Bill Belichick? He's on the phone right now. You want to talk to John Elway?
Conversation,
I'm on the phone with him right now. You want to talk to whoever in the league. I got his number right here. Like, and you're learning from the best. Like, Deion's he's not some guy that was in the league for 5 years. It goes like, oh yeah, Deion Sanders played here, and no, you're learning from the greatest cornerback in the history of the league, probably one of the greatest players in the league. When he speaks, people will listen. It don't matter what college he's at. He could have been at freaking Palmetto Prep. If Deion Sanders was coach said, hey, this dude is a monster, you should check him out. They're gonna fly down there and they're gonna have a legit pro day and look at everybody on that team, on that roster, depending on whoever he's talking about. That's the type of influence Deion can have on getting kids to the league, which is ultimately their goal anyway. Which is what I think will fuel them to go to Jackson State, depending on their situation. That's JUCO, 3, 4-star, 5-star. You're a 5-star cornerback. Why wouldn't you go to Jackson State? You're learning from the greatest cornerback in history. That's who you want to be your coach.
The only reason why I bring up that question was because of obviously Mikey saying what he said. But at the end of the day, the times that we are right now, like in our world, I see a lot more kids about to do what Mikey's doing over the next 3 to 4 years. Whether it turns into a powerhouse for football and basketball, whether, let's say Mikey goes to Jackson State and then now they got Deion and Mikey and, a top basketball recruit. But I totally, without a doubt, seeing HBCUs within the next 4 to 5 years to having to get more TV time, having to get more recognition, having to find a way to get their games out there because people are going to want to see these kids more than just a highlight on ESPN.
All right,
no doubt.
We're going to wrap it up there, but I am definitely happy about what happened with Deion Sanders, and I hope to see some growth in HBCUs and HBCU football and basketball and all in general. But once again, thank you, Hunter, for joining us today. Chris and Sterling, as always. SportsCasters is brought to you today by Rose Revenge and Slim Dev Music. Thank you guys for episode 2, and we will see you guys next week for episode 3.
We hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Rose Revenge and official Slim Dev Music. Stay tuned next week for more on SportsCasters. See you soon.